What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be taking a look at the platinum trophies I've earned in 2026 so far. I think the last time I did this video was back in 2023, so it's been a while. I've gotten a lot of platinums in general, but 2026, surprisingly, I've gone through a decent amount of games this year, and I've also achieved a handful of platinums from both new games and just old games that I've been playing for a while. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the games from 2026. First one, the most recent one here is Granblue Fantasy Relink. I was trying to play this before the expansion came out, and I got this on August 12th of 2026. And I really liked this game when I first played it. A viewer of mine had suggested that I check it out, and I'm really happy that I did because I thought it was a great action RPG. There's a lot here to this game, and there, if you're looking for a fun, action-packed role-playing game, this is definitely the one for you. I like the combat system, I like the art style. I ended up being a big fan of this game for a lot of reasons. I will say the Platinum Trophy, there's a lot of grinding involved for sure, especially when you're trying to get all the Terminus weapons. That entire process took way longer than I would have liked. I was a little annoyed by how many times I had to grind the same boss fight over and over and over again. But I think aside from, that one trophy where basically you have to not only get all the weapons, but you have to get all the field notes for your journal in the game. Aside from those two trophies in particular, I think everything else here is pretty attainable. A lot of unmissable story-related events, and then most of the time you're really just going to be grinding the post-game to get some of the bigger trophies in this game. But overall, I highly recommend this one. I'm very interested in checking out the expansion at some point, but for right now, I pretty much have seen everything I need to see in the base game. So whenever I'm ready, I think I can just move on and start the expansion. But yeah, pretty good game. Next here is Cairn. This is a game that actually released this year, and this was achieved on August 2nd of 2026. This game is excellent. I'm a big fan of this game. As someone that likes to climb in their spare time, I really just dug this game for a lot of reasons. Story was great, the music was incredible, the core gameplay loop had me freaking out all the time. My hands were sweating anytime I played this game. It just, you go into fight or flight whenever you play this game. You don't want to fall off the mountain. But it's a great climbing simulator adventure game that was full of surprises, a lot of great memorable moments. I really hope this game gets a lot of recognition when it comes to the award season. It deserves it. It is a really awesome time. I played this one with my partner as well. We would trade off climbing and planning out routes, and we would basically just take turns playing this game. And for us, that was the best way to kind of experience this one. And I would say if you haven't had a chance to check out Cairn, add it to your list. It's really worth your time. It's definitely one of the best things that I've played this year. And again, I really hope that when it comes to the award season, I hope it gets the recognition that it deserves. But yeah, that's Cairn. Scrolling down here, we've got Overwatch doesn't count. That's an old one. Goodnight Universe here. This was achieved on, June 19th of 2026. This one's really good. This one's a solid narrative adventure game that I've talked about in another video of mine on the channel. There aren't too many trophies. You can see there's only 12 here, and they're all gold, which, I like those trophy lists in particular. Narratively speaking, though, I really love this game, and I do think that the second half of the story to this game, it goes into some very unexpected directions, and in particular, there's an exploration done into one character that you wouldn't have thought you would get the exploration into this character. And the game kind of pivots to exploring mental health and mental illness, and that's all I'll kind of say because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that would be interested in checking this game out. But I do think the exploration of this in the second half to this one character or mental illness in general, for me, I thought that was way more compelling than some of the more sci-fi moments to this game. I really love what this game has to say when it comes to paralleling the opening when you're playing as the baby and sort of the end sequence, which I don't want to really ruin. But there are a lot of great payoffs, and there are a lot of great moments that kind of intersect in ways that is satisfying from a narrative perspective. So I really love this game. It's very short, which is also why I picked this one up. And it's from the same team that did Before Your Eyes, which I thought was a fantastic VR game. So check it out, it's definitely worth your time. Next here is one that was quite a bit of an undertaking here. This is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I got this one on June 15th, 2026. And this one's interesting because, I played this game years ago. Like, I played this, I remember playing this during the COVID-19 pandemic. I was really excited to check this one out because I was a big fan of, Final Fantasy VII. So wanted to see exactly what this remake was going to entail. Absolutely blown away by how incredible this game was. And replaying it on hard, because one of the trophies on this trophy list is basically, going through chapter select and beating every single mission again on the hard difficulty, which is pretty dang challenging. But, doing the replay on the hard difficulty all these years later, I still had a fantastic time with this game. Really, really incredible. The one trophy, and it's right here, that was annoying. I think trying to find a good guide that was all-encompassing, kind of detailing exactly what's needed for this trophy. This is to get all of the bridal candidate outfits when you meet with Dawn in that like casino district. This one was pretty tedious. I had to look up a guide just to figure out exactly, how to achieve this. And it basically boiled down to how many side quests you ended up completing for specific chapters. And then for Tifa, the different dialogue choices determined what she would wear as well. So that one was absolutely the most annoying out of all of these trophies. And I think aside from that, though, this is a very well structured trophy list. And yeah, I would say aside from the bridal candidate, the ultimate weapon trophy was also pretty difficult. And then again, completing all the chapters on hard was very challenging in my opinion. Some of the bosses just felt incredibly tanky and just, it was a lot. But overall, there were a couple things that, like I said, I had to follow a guide for, but most of these things are pretty attainable within the core story. It's a fantastic experience. Now, I think I'm at a good point where I can move on to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I can feel good about moving on to that now, having seen and done everything here in Final Fantasy VII Remake. If you still haven't played any of these games in the Remake trilogy, it'll soon we'll get the third one. Check them out. They're, the first one's great at least, and the second one I'm really excited to jump into and give it a shot. Just got to find the time to sink 100 and however many hours into that game. So just putting that off a little bit longer. Dungeons of Hinterberg. This one was an excellent surprise. I got this on sale during, I think, one of the summer sales or spring sales or whatever, and this was excellent. It's like a like a Zelda Persona combination there. There's dungeons that you can explore, puzzles to solve, and then you also have these social links that you can sort of level up with the different townspeople in the central town in the game. And so, yeah, it's like a combination of games that you've seen before, but I think it's expertly done. I love the dungeons. I didn't find them too difficult. I felt them challenging, in the right way, to where it's not blocking or impeding your progress from moving forward, but it's not too easy to the point where you're just getting bored. So there's a nice balance there, I think, for people that aren't maybe privy to puzzle games or don't really like solving puzzles necessarily. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this game. I love the art style, especially. The art style in this game is pretty cool. If you are interested, maybe go check out some screenshots online and just get a feel for how the game looks. But yeah, visually, love the game. I liked most of the supporting characters, not all of them. I will say that unlike something like Persona, where I generally like most of the main cast of characters and the side characters as well, there were a couple in this game where I was like, no, I don't really find you that interesting, even after going through their entire social link, But overall, I really liked this game. This was a nice surprise. This was something that I intermixed with another game that I was playing at the time because this was significantly shorter, but I did have a great time with this one. I ended up, sinking a decent amount of time into the game just to explore the world, and like I said, just do and see everything as much as possible. Highly recommend Dungeons of Hinterberg. I was, again, blown away by how solid this game was. And I know I didn't say this at the top, but this was achieved on June 8th of 2026. Next here is Mixtape. I know a lot of people online have been talking about this game in a negative way, but I got this one on May 13th, 2026. Basically bought this game when it first came out. I had been waiting for this game for years. There were so many previews and trailers and just delays nonstop with this game that when it finally got a release date, I was very excited. And I think I was pretty excited to play this one specifically because I was disappointed in how mediocre Lost Records Bloom and Rage was. And so this game kind of seemed like it could hit or scratch that itch that, you know, Lost Records really didn't. And Lost Records I thought was pretty disappointing. But this looked like it was going to be good and sort of exactly what I wanted, you know, Lost Records to be. Overall, I really like this game. I can see why people take issue with the game, but also I don't really understand all of the hate that this game gets. It's a really solid experience. I like the story. I like the central cast of characters. The voice acting was great. The music, I mean, that is the focal point for this game, in my opinion. I mean, the music's fantastic. The curated list of licensed tracks is fantastic. And, you know, there's a lot of fun to be had here. I really do think that there's a lot to appreciate with the game. And one of the reasons why I really liked it as well was that it was a short game that didn't overstay its welcome. You know, it was one of those things where I think I bought it on day one, and then it took me like 2 sittings to complete the thing. Yeah, no, I just had a great time with it though. And there are certain sequences in this game that I replayed a few times just because I really loved the direction of those chapters. I thought that they were really fun to play. And then the music for those chapters as well was just phenomenal. Yesterday's Hero was a song that I played nonstop when I beat this game because I think that might be my favorite track out of the whole playlist. But overall, I really love this game, and I hope it gets the recognition it deserves when it comes to the award season. I'm sure it'll get, you know, best indie. It'll probably get best. I don't know if they do. Do they do best soundtrack? I mean, this isn't really a soundtrack. It's a you know, there's a bunch of licensed music. So, but overall, yeah, I really like this game, and I'm sure it'll get some sort of nomination this year. But yeah, if you're looking for a really solid, short game with great music and great visuals, this is definitely worth checking out. Moving down here, we've got Life is Strange Reunion. This was achieved on April 16th, 2026. And so my partner and I we wanted to give this game a fair shot. We had played Double Exposure. We did not like it. We played Bloom and Rage, did not like it. We were really hoping that Reunion would be the Life is Strange game, or just, you know, it would just be a good narrative game, would, you know, have a proper send-off for these characters. And overall, I think it's definitely not perfect. It is, you know, by far not our favorite Life is Strange game, but it is also not anywhere near as bad as Double Exposure. And so in terms of final send-off, you know, the final game, whatever, we liked it. We did like it. And, you know, I played this game twice to get all of the trophies and to see both of the, you know, the Chloe sort of endings, or the, you know, the various endings of this game, I'll just say. And yeah, like I said, you know, not perfect. It's not the best Life is Strange game, unfortunately. I mean, things could have been a lot worse. Like they really could have ruined the franchise with this game if this game was bad, you know. I do wish that we had gotten more time with Moses. You know, I do think Moses is one of the better new characters that they've introduced in these games. But there were some pretty solid, memorable moments, some great sequences, you know, that kind of made me want to play the first Life is Strange again. There are some surreal, sort of trippy and dark moments near the back half of this game that I thought were really awesome, like just to include and have in the game. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, it was cool seeing Chloe again. It was a cool thing just to have her in the Life is Strange game again. My partner and I, though, while we were playing this game, we came up with an idea that we almost feel like Double Exposure should have ended with Chloe coming back, and then this game would have picked up right after she had arrived at the end of Double Exposure. Something to that effect, where like Chloe shows up in her truck, and, you know, she's like, "Hey Max, like we need to talk," and then it sort of segues into Reunion, or it segues into the beginning of the game, beginning of Reunion, where you're basically in the at that gig with Chloe, and then she starts having all these weird visions. So I don't know. All this is to say, you know, Double Exposure was okay, not very good, but this one was solid. This was like a solid 7, like, right, you know, solid game. So yeah, I would recommend, if you have been keeping up with Life is Strange and maybe you were curious about how is this final chapter, I would say it's worth your time. Again, don't expect it to be Life is Strange 2 or Life is Strange 1, but it is a lot better than I think either of us were expecting it to be, for sure. Now we're moving down to Clair Obscur. This is one that it bothered me that I hadn't gotten this one. So I got this in April 2026, April 3rd to be more specific here. And this one bothered me because I love this game a lot, and I love the music especially. I still listen to the whole soundtrack when I'm doing work. It just helps me just concentrate. And you know, I bought this game, I waited to buy it physically. It was constantly going out of stock. I wanted to own a copy of the game physically. And so it took me a while just to even get a copy of this game. And then when I did, you know, I played it pretty much all the way through in as much as I could in like one sitting. Really, really dug it. Yeah, I ended up just revisiting it this year, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get all the stuff that I missed. I'm gonna do all the boss fights, the optional boss fights. I'm gonna do all the quests. I'm gonna do all the records. I just made it a goal to get everything because I really like this game, and the fact that it was sitting at like 78% completion, it bothered me because I'm like, this is a great game. This is a very special game. As I'm sure most of you know, it's a very special game. And so it just didn't sit well with me that this was sitting at like a very, in my opinion, low percentage for trophy completion. And it's a great game. It is, you know, I really wanted to platinum this one, but man, oh man, that Simon boss fight was really difficult. I think the fact that boss fight has three parts. I mean, the first time I even experienced the second phase, it's phases, right? But when I experienced the second phase of that boss fight, I was like, what the heck? Like, there's more to this boss fight? And then the third phase rolls around, and I was still enamored that I had more fighting to do for that one boss fight. So to be honest with you, that last boss fight, the Simon fight, is absolutely a big challenge. But overcoming that challenge is very rewarding. I love the little, kind of twist that it throws at you mid-fight. Very engaging, very, very fun fight. And aside from the Simon trophy, I think all the other ones are straightforward. And if you, get to a point where you're just basically doing all the collectibles cleanup, it takes no time at all. Like, it really takes no time at all to do that either. Yeah, if you haven't played Clair Obscur yet, please give it a look. It is an awesome time, and I'm so glad that I finally found time to go back and play this game and get all the trophies. Resident Evil Requiem, for me, this is my game of the year still. I got this March 10th, 2026. And yeah, this is my game of the year still. I haven't played too many games this year in terms of games that have released in 2026. I still want to play First Light, 007 First Light. I really want to play that game. A lot of my friends that have played it have said that it is very Uncharted-like, and that interests me in a lot of ways. So I'm sure I'll like 007 when I get around to playing it. But I mean, Resident Evil Requiem is. I'm a Resident Evil fan. I'm not like a fanboy, or I enjoyed 8, I really loved 7. Obviously 4 is fantastic, and 3 is great, and 2 is great. But I enjoy Resident Evil. And as someone who enjoys Resident Evil, I played this game and I was completely blown away. I really love this game. And again, this is coming from someone that enjoys the games, enjoys the franchise, but is not like a huge fan of Resident Evil. Not because it's bad. I just it's never been my franchise of choice. Like, it's never been really one at the forefront of my mind, like so many others. But even having said that, I really loved this game. This was awesome. I love the gray sequences, the more like first person, tense horror suspense, and then you had Leon sections that are in third person action, kind of like crazy action sequences, and it's just a really good, smart blending of those two different tones and genres. And I do feel like Capcom really did something special with this game specifically that it stuck with me for pretty much this entire year, ever since I played it in March. And again, I as of right now, until I play more games that have released this year, I want to play Densha Attack. I think that's the other game that's on my list right now. But still, Resident Evil has been something I've thought about since it's come out. I really loved it. Big fan of what Capcom is doing right now. And so, yeah, highly recommend you check out Requiem. It is absolutely worth your time. I know some people aren't as big on this game as the others in the franchise or in the series, but for me, it really did a lot of things right. Next, we got a great little game here, Venba. This was achieved on March 9th. Great little indie game. Big fan of the storytelling mechanism here. Love the ending. I thought the ending for me, kind of, I don't know, it hit me in a way that I didn't expect it to. And for me, I think the biggest thing here was I'm a big fan of Cooking Mama. I love Cooking Mama. I used to play Cooking Mama on the DS a ton. For some reason, this just reminded me of Cooking Mama quite a bit. And I do appreciate, the biggest thing I appreciated about this game in particular was that you can actually reference the recipes. Like the game just gives you all the recipes that you make in game. You can just go to a separate menu option and it allows you to just preview all of the recipes used in the game. And I've actually saved a couple just to maybe try out one day. Maybe go to a market, get some spices, and make some of the dishes from this game. So I do love that that is the grand unifier in this game is like it's food, right? It brings people together. It comes across beautifully in the game. And even after playing the game, I was so compelled to just want to make this stuff myself that I looked at the recipes that they present to you in the game, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to make something like this at some point. Venba's great. It's a great 2-hour game. Big fan of it. Highly recommend you check it out. I'm curious to see what this studio does next because it was great. It was a really good time. Next here comes Wanderstop. This is from the same person that gave us Stanley Parable. This was achieved on February 17th. Yeah, this is a weird one. So this trophy list, the interesting thing about this game is, as far as I can tell, there's no specific criteria to unlocking these trophies. They just kind of unlock during moments of gameplay, or they unlock the longer you play the game. There's no, I couldn't sit here and tell you, oh, this is how I unlock this trophy. They just kind of unlock. And it fits into the central design of this game. So the creator of Stanley Parable made this game because making games is hard, right? It's a very hard thing. Only a handful of people can really do it. And for him specifically, he got so burnt out and so exhausted to the point where he just, it didn't bring him joy anymore. I think he was saying that he was so burnt out that he basically made this game to say, hey, I'm really burnt out. And it comes across, with the main character, her plight. And I think the funny thing about this trophy list is the way it's designed is you're not really meant to be thinking about this constantly. You're not having to worry about criteria or missable trophies or missable events. The stress involved in some trophy lists, trophy lists where you have to kind of be on top of everything all the time. The way that this one was designed was basically you just get the trophies while you're playing the game, while you're experiencing the game. So there really isn't anything hanging over your head while you're playing the game. I got the platinum trophy well before I even finished the game. I still had another hour left to playing the game before it ended, and I still got the platinum trophy. This game though specifically, I got a lot out of because, much like the creator of Stanley Parable being just exhausted and burnt out with work and his career stuff, and him making this game as a result of that, as someone who's been burnt out with work for the past 2.5 years, I want to say, a lot of what is said and what is conveyed in this game resonated with me more than many other games out there. And so for me, it was the timing at which I played this game. It really made an impact. It is not a traditional sim or a cozy game. It's not a cozy game at all, in my opinion. You can break the rules of this game and the game doesn't penalize you for it. It is quite literally a game that you pick up and play, and it's meant to be no stress. You just kind of, you play the game. And it's a weird thing to say, but that's what it is. And I do think, as someone who kind of is experiencing a lot of burnout with just work and stuff like that, this is a great game to just kind of pick up and play, and I don't know, just feel like you're seen by a game, which is almost a weird thing to say, but please check this one out. It is not what you're probably expecting it to be, and I mean that in the best way possible. It's a really good time. Here's Flock now. I've done a video on this one. I got this one February 1st. This is a nice, great little distraction. A couple hours it took me to really beat this game, but if you're going for, again, 100% completion, it'll definitely take you longer. There are some hidden creatures that you have to figure out ways to, uncover them in the world. But aside from that, everything is incredibly just straightforward. Basically, just play the game, enjoy it, have a good time with it, and 90% of these trophies you'll unlock in just going through the game and playing casually. And this was another game, I'm pretty sure I was playing Flock and Wanderstop concurrently at the same time. And both of these games were great for me because, again, this was around the time where I was really starting to feel overwhelmed with work and just like burnt out and exhausted all the time. And Flock is also another game where it's so casual, it's so chill, and basically you're just exploring this beautiful world and trying to catch different creatures. And so it's like low stress, nothing really too crazy here. And so playing Flock with Wanderstop at the same time, both of these games just zened me out and kind of recentered myself quite a bit, you know, when I was going through all these like kind of stressful moments. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Flock. I really like this game, not only because it's just a good short experience, but if you're someone like me that needs to unwind after a long crazy day of work, it's perfect for that specifically. All right, next here is LEGO Horizon Adventures. This was achieved on January 18th, 2026. I don't like this game. I love the design, like the visual design of this game, how everything is Lego-ified. The Horizon game is, you know, Horizon Universe is Lego-ified. I don't even know if that's proper, but yeah, I love the way the game looks. Visually, I thought it was a very impressive game, but from a gameplay perspective, I'm not a big Lego fan. Like, I don't like the Lego games too much. This is not that. This is way more like action, I guess action, adventure, role play. It's kind of a combination of things. There really isn't the traditional kind of like Lego game baked into this Horizon Adventures game. It's more action and role-playing mechanics than you would think, which I thought was going to help me with my overall like enjoyment of the game. But to me, this is a very middle-of-the-road game. I don't really understand why Sony thinks that Horizon is their big flagship IP. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's those people out there, right, that love Horizon and think it's the best thing that Sony has right now. I don't really see that, and I don't know why they're trying to make Horizon a thing. Like, why are they trying to make, you know, Fetch a thing here? But it's solid. I had a good time with it. I wouldn't say it's groundbreaking. It didn't change my mind about Lego games or the Horizon games. And again, I'm not saying that Horizon games are bad. I love the first Horizon game. If you go all the way back into my channel's history, I put the first Horizon game at like number 1 or number 2 for that year when it released. I never finished the second game. I do not know why I've never finished the second Horizon game. I've tried several times to get into it. I don't know. Maybe I just don't have enough time and to play it. I don't know what it is. But going back to LEGO Horizon Adventures, this was fine. It was a middle-of-the-road experience. I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I tried it out. It is very easy to platinum. So for me, at least, when the rest of the game wasn't compelling enough, I at least fell back to, you know, well, I'm just going to get all the trophies, and that's more than enough motivation for me to finish this game and see and do everything in it. But yeah, not too hot on this one, but not for any particular reason. Not like it's bad. It's just not for me. All right, now we're going to go to Myst here. This was achieved January 6th. I played Myst a long time ago. A lot of this stuff was very familiar to me. The puzzles, I basically ended up speedrunning this game because I just remembered so much of it when I played it. I played it recently too. It wasn't even that long ago. So a lot of this was just familiar territory to me. But if you've never played Myst before, it's a hard puzzle game. For me, it was hard when I first played it, and I'm not trying to undersell how challenging this puzzle game is because it's a hard puzzle game. I mean, Jonathan Blow took inspiration from this game, I think, when he did The Witness. And The Witness is a very challenging puzzle game. But that one I find is way more accessible than Myst. But I don't know, maybe you let me know in the comments if you disagree with that. But yeah, I mean, Myst is incredible. What they were able to achieve with this game on hardware back in the day still blows my mind. Even playing, you know, the PS5 version of this game today, I just was like, dang, this is very ahead of its time, very, very cool. But this is what I miss about old game development, like old school game development, is how these designers and these engineers had to basically like reinvent the wheel to get these games to run and play on older hardware. It's just really impressive. And yeah, Myst is a great time. If you haven't played Myst at all, I would recommend it. Just know what you're getting yourself into. It's pretty demanding in terms of puzzle games, I would say. Alrighty, that is going to do it for all of the platinum trophies that I've earned in 2026. Let me know in the comments below what platinum trophies that you've earned in 2026 so far. Let me know if you've platinumed any of the games that I showed off here today. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.